Hello and welcome to the No Name Sports Show. We are back with episode 3. I am your host again, Ricky, along with my fellow lineman, Manny Canales, and everything. How's it going, my man?
Not that bad, not that bad.
Okay.
Yourself?
Okay. And then, of course, if you didn't know that, again, the No Name Sports Show is our monthly sports show, podcast where we talk, or of course, me and Manny talk about all the stuff that happens, not within competitive competition, within competitive athletic team individuals activities
Mm,
and everything
this
and
is
all that stuff
correct.
no matter what it is and everything like that. Again, we are currently, if you don't know already, this is dropping the same day as our 100th episode of the No Name Podcast and everything. So
Oh,
and a lot of cool things are happening at the same time and everything. Not only that, we will be officially be on the audio feed. We're finally on audio. Our shows will be on audio. All 3 episodes will be on the audio, on our audio feed. It is now going to be titled under the No Name Entertainment brand feed and everything. So both you'll get both the No Name Sports Show every month, and of course every 2 week our bi-weekly show, the No Name Podcast, happening on that audio feed right then and there. You'll know the difference when you'll see the titles and everything like that of those episodes, whatever they are, and all that stuff and everything. But other than that, of course, as I said, the No Name Podcast is reach its 100th episode.
okay.
It is going to be it's happening the same day as this episode comes out also and everything. So be sure to check that out if you haven't already. And of course, you can catch these. These will be happening on YouTube, Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many other audio services where available and everything. And Manny, how's it going? Again, how was your month? How's the month been sports wise with you?
There's been a lot of ups and downs. I watch college football.
Rocking
Like,
rocking his Pirates hat right now. For those who are not
and
watching the
my
video, the
and my
YouTube version
Steelers
and the
hoodie,
Steeler stuff.
black and gold, till
Though
I'm dead and cold.
though the Pittsburgh nation is not in a good spot right now at the moment and everything like
Yeah,
that. And it's like and everything, but he's repping it very hard. He's still repping his teams and everything in the
yeah,
city
still with my
and
teams.
all that
Yeah.
stuff and everything. But anyways, um, I figured we start with something a little interesting that I found since our last episode. So
Sounds good.
and everything, and it's called the jock tax. Have you heard of this before?
Well, I've heard of jocks and I've heard of taxes, but I haven't heard of jock taxes.
As we continue, um, I found this on Instagram. The if you're boardroom is the account on Instagram, and I was talking about saying how pro athlete pay taxes every state because of Michael Jordan and all and for this. Now, what does that mean? So according to NBC Sports, the jock tax didn't exist until Michael Jordan won the championship with the Bulls in a 4-1 series against the Lakers in 1991. While Jordan was celebrating with his teammates, the state of California notified his accountant that he had owed taxes for his time spent playing in LA, playing in the finals. Jordan didn't live in California, of course, so being forced simply to pay taxes simply because he played there was highly unusual and everything. In direct response to this new policy, Illinois passed a bill famously known as Michael Jordan's Revenge, imposing income taxes on athletes from California and any other state that imposed a tax on their residents. Many city and state governments followed the suit, seizing the opportunity to reach into the pockets of visiting athletes. Today, nearly every state that hosts professional sports team has enacted their own jock tax policy, and it ends with now the average NFL, NBA, and MLB player has to file a 15 to 20% tax returns a year. Are you confused about something, or you concerned?
No, I'm just thinking. I'm just thinking.
What are you thinking?
Just thinking about it. Very good.
Sounds like you're processing it.
Yeah, pretty much.
So You're processing the money. So pretty much every player has to pay a tax in the state they're playing in, no matter what.
Got it.
So they have to file when they're filing it, when they have to get their taxes filed, they have to make sure they're filing taxes for the state they played in, which is
Got it.
which is almost which is the majority of the whole United States, depending on something. So it's so and everything. So like your Pittsburgh Steelers right now, the states
except Montana,
pretty much, pretty much. But every time any of your players and all that stuff, like Trubisky, you have to their players. Okay, here we go. Your players have to pay a tax when they play in Baltimore.
Yeah,
and all that stuff.
Yeah,
and all that stuff.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yes, yeah. So more of a reason to hate them now for you.
Technically, no. We have to pay taxes to Maryland because Baltimore's in Maryland.
I know that. We
actually don't pay. They don't pay taxes to Baltimore. They pay taxes to Maryland.
I know that.
That makes it a little bit because I don't hate Maryland.
You know, so I know that, but still, I'm just saying. You only play him in Baltimore in that state. You only play in Baltimore in that state.
Baltimore's the city, though. So like,
that's what I mean. That's the only city you play in that state.
Yeah, but they're mainly paying taxes to Maryland, though, so it's not as bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but most of the money is supposed to has to distribute out to every city, and Baltimore is the
city.
That's
true.
Okay,
that's true. But there's a legal document there, so.
Don't. Even like yeah, but it wasn't. This was an interesting thing to find out about the fact that I was like, I always wondered about how that stuff would work taxes wise, especially when you're like you have to stay somewhere and all that stuff. But I wonder if they can write that out based off what they do in the state. Like whatever they do in the state, can they write whatever they're paying for and all that stuff? Can they get that written off as like a business expense of sorts?
Most likely whatever they're paying for, but that's the thing, the team pays for a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but I know that. I know that. Like,
if anything, they can like probably write off food, maybe clothing.
So like, there are going to be like personal things that the team doesn't buy and that stuff.
Yeah,
I know the majority of what they're when it comes to traveling, it's gonna be paid by the team, such as like traveling and all that stuff. Yeah, so I found that very interesting. So to find that out, to see that there was players do get taxed even if they don't live in the state they're playing in, and all stuff. Though it is weird at the same time because there's probably a chance of certain players having multiple houses in different states too. Because I'm saying because there's a possible chance that players probably live also in one of the other states that they don't play in.
Right.
Like they're not the home team. They're not a part of. Like LeBron, like LeBron, for instance, I think not only has a house in LA, I think he has one in Ohio and in Florida too.
Yeah, he has to pay taxes to all those. No.
Well, no.
I think it's just whatever
where you majority live in.
Most and also yeah.
You know, stuff because you have to have depending on what time you spent within the tax year.
Yeah,
that's where you pay your taxes for in that state for that particular state. But I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You know, so that was fun. That was an interesting little stat. I do have another one that will be coming to later when we get into football. But let's get into something. This is a sports show. We do consider the term esports an actual sport and all that stuff because it is competitive. There's a lot of stuff that happens in there and everything. But most particularly, Manny and I attended just this past weekend the League of Legends Worlds Finals. For those who don't know what this is, of course, if you don't know what League of Legends is, it is a free-to-play game made by Riot Games. It is a.
Is it now?
Huh?
I was like, is it now?
I'm sorry that I'm. Oh, excuse me, Mr. League of Legends. That it's currently at what, gold? I don't know. I don't know what ranking is. And all that stuff.
Not a gold.
And also, Mr. I play League of Legends and all that stuff, and
I don't even play that much
and all that stuff. Okay, still though, maybe the people that watch this show don't. Okay, it's point of giving context and letting people know about this stuff. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Anyways, back to
Well,
what I was.
it's not really free to play. It's
It is free to play.
yeah. Okay.
I I get where you're going at with that. I know where you're getting at with that, but don't. If it's like literally you can just download and play it with a limit selection of champions, it's still free to play.
I'll go. I'll go to chilling.
Huh?
I'll okay. I'll let it slide.
This guy. Where? Anyways, like I was saying, free to play game made by Riot Games. It is a multiplayer online battle arena, or MOBA for short, and everything. It's a 5v5 competition where you play a different character from each and split out between different select lanes and all that stuff and everything. We have your top, your middle, your bottom, and of course the space in between is the jungle and everything.
And you have AD carry.
And thank you. And also, even though I said I was talking about the lanes first before I was talking about the actual positions
Yeah, okay.
and everything. And then of course Manny did name a specific position in the game, which is ADC carry. There's also support, and then the other ones I did mention were they also call them top lane, mid lane, and of course jungler for that. To name the other
And
ones.
bot lane.
Why?
When you rename them, you miss bot lane. The first time you got it.
Bot lane is literally ADC and support.
Yeah, that's true. But
You know,
a lot of people get mad when you don't say it.
Huh?
A lot of people get mad when you don't say it. So.
I can give two shits. And all that stuff. And,
we have
here's the
we
thing.
have a reputation.
Here's the thing, people. Here's the thing, people. Between the two of us in this game, I'm the casual one in this. He's the one that plays it the most.
Yeah.
Between the two of us, but yeah, I'm the one explaining everything here.
Oh, you're the host.
I would honestly, I could have just gave it to you.
Yeah, you could have.
And all that stuff. But I was like, you know what? I'm willing to try to give it a shot and over here and all that stuff. But you want to try to be
you should replace them
and all that stuff and everything like that.
I think you should stream.
I will explain more of that in the No Name if you watch the No Name podcast. And all that stuff.
Oh, when does that come out?
That comes out the same day and all that stuff. This episode comes out, so be sure to check that out. Because here's the thing.
There you go.
Here's the thing. Not only the world's final was also a game itself. There was a match we saw. There's also an experience. So in this show, we're gonna talk about the game itself and everything like that. But if you want to learn about how our experience was at the event itself, that will be on the No Name podcast today on this which comes out the same day and everything. Right? So and all stuff. Again, which is also our 100th episode. So be sure to check that out if you want to know which one specifically about that. Now, I gave out the proper basic stuff of what's provided on their stuff. There is a lot of other things in the game itself that I am not casually not known for it all stuff. I enjoy watching it. I'm not gonna lie and everything. But there's still a lot of things that I don't know. Again, there's like 100 different mainly champions within the game itself and all that stuff that you can either earn by playing, just grinding the game, or simply buying with Riot points and all that stuff. So, all that stuff and everything too. All that stuff. There are little other there's a different kind of modes. There's a Summoner's Rift, there's ARAM, there's Teamfight Tactics, which is a totally different game in itself, just within the League client. And for those ones and everything, and of course they do have their rank mode and all that stuff, which everyone loves which everyone loves in the League of Legends community. Love a lot.
Love and hate. It's a love and hate relationship.
I was being sarcastic in general, but okay.
Yeah.
And everything like that. But here we go. So again, how worlds work. It is it starts with your planes, groups, quarterfinals, semifinals, and the final itself. It rotates. It's similar to like how can I say this? The Olympics and the World Cup, but this is an every year event, not every 4 years, similar to the World Cup and the Olympics and everything. And it's pretty much when most of because there are so many different regions that play this for competition and then all stuff in these leagues in different ways. The major four, of course, are NA, which is here in the United States, Europe, Korea, China, and then there's many others around the world and everything, such as the Vietnam, Latin America, and to name a couple and everything. And when it comes to throughout the season, pretty much the top seeds, depending on what region, come together and fight in this, to compete in this tournament for this stuff. Again, like I said, this does rotate in different countries. This is the first time it's actually been in NA since 2016, I want to say, if I'm correct. I could be wrong on that. I think it was either 15 or 16. It was one of the two. And all that stuff. And pretty much it's located, though it's in the North America region, it was split in different areas. Play-ins was in New Mexico City. Groups and quarterfinals were in New York. Semifinals was in Atlanta, and then of course the finals was in San Francisco for those ones. Again, since we were more closer to the final ones, we were able to attend it by getting our tickets and everything, and that's pretty much it and all that stuff. For that stuff. The finals were competed by two of Korea's best teams. DRX one is the fourth seed of the league of LCK, which again is in Korea, again going against T1 again of the LCK in Korea, which are the number 2 seed in that from that region. And for that stuff, it is a best of 5 game series, so you have to win your 3 at 5 to make sure you to win the whole thing. This is not a bracket reset double elimination style kind of tournament, unfortunately, for this and everything. And pretty much the result ended up being DRX winning in game 5, and for that one in particularly. Now and everything. So pretty much, I was gonna say this. I almost blanked out right now. Manny, what did you think of the game? What do you think of the series?
Okay. Do you want the short one or the long one?
Just go.
Long one? I don't know what that means. You want the short one or the long one?
Go long. I'll see how it feels.
Go long? Okay.
Yeah, I'm
gonna go medium. So overall, Faker and Zeus, I don't know, dude.
Okay. First of all, bring clarity. I only brought the teams. I never said players.
Okay, so Faker and Zeus are like the top dudes on T1 and stuff. And so they, in my opinion, game 1 obviously was really good for them. And they did decent in game 1. But I feel like other than that, they just didn't play the way they should have been playing in those games. I mean, if they played the way they looked all season and all year, that would have been 3 games they're out. The drafts were, I don't know about the drafts. Obviously, like, dude, when they didn't ban Caitlyn and you saw them panicking, I was a little bit worried.
Was that in
game 5?
Was that in
game 5? Yeah, when they didn't ban Caitlyn. And you see them getting worried, it's like, oh, shit. And then just game 4, dude, I was mad all game 4, and I was. So you'll learn on the podcast with No Name, but we were doing stuff on game 2 and 3 that we weren't able to watch them. We watched them. We were on on our phones watching the stream, but we weren't in the stadium watching them. But dude, game 4 was all around horrible. The draft was horrible, and the way they executed they had a lot of missed objectives. They had a lot of, their strategy was just weird. I mean, game 4 was, other than the Baron steal, which was kind of necessary for that game. I mean, I don't know. You can see them, like, I don't know if it was the pressure, but then you can't even put on Zeus, you can kind of be like, okay, well, the pressure got to him. But it should be getting to Faker. I don't know what was wrong with Faker. I mean, he's clearly a veteran. I don't know if it was the nerves or if it was the whole build-up, because there was, I don't know if you want to explain on the podcast or on this one, but it was pretty much like a storybook finale in Worlds that happened.
To bring a little context into it, this is Faker's first final in a very long time, and all that stuff. He
Yes.
hasn't been to a final he hasn't been to a final in a very long time, and that was
Let's
when
see.
they lost. That's when they lost
Against
to
Samsung.
some White, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. What year was that? That was 15? No.
I want to say probably 15, if not
16, maybe. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I know that was the one before I started getting into league
Oh,
competitive
okay.
and all stuff. Like I
Yeah.
know of it, but everything.
Yeah.
But that was the because that I knew, but I don't remember the year specifically.
Yeah,
if probably 16, because I think that's the same year. So I think because 17 was the year LCS went into franchising, and that was the
was it?
year
Okay.
that was the year I started watching.
Okay, so yeah, it was probably 16. Could have been 16. So this is his first time back at Worlds, you know, and everything.
In a final.
And then you had the storybook, the kind of like the underdog story of DRX. You know, coming to the play-ins
DRX
for the
is,
first.
yeah, to bring context,
Oh, yeah.
DRX is the first team in Worlds ever to come from play-ins into a final and everything. It hasn't
Right.
it's
So
never
yes.
been done before and all that stuff. But then again, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. Why and everything of how I feel about that. And
It's extremely hard as of right now to do that. Well, yeah, no, I'll go with that extremely hard. So you had that, and then also the whole storybook beginning from them both getting drafted in 2013, both being from the same school.
And what he means by both is not only Faker, but the player on DRX, Def, who is the he's ADC, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
He plays ADC. Yeah, so
it's like
it's to add a little bit more. This is Def's first ever final and everything. This is his first ever final this year and everything. He's the closest he's been is semifinals, and everything. But that's pretty much. But like I said, this is his very first final in Worlds.
Right. So I mean, you have a story from before 13. I mean, yeah, they got drafted in 13, but they were at high school together. They were, I think, just high school. I don't think they were.
Yeah, it was high school.
It was just high school, right?
Yeah.
So you have them like knowing each other there, them being the top of their game, them being the top of everything, them getting drafted in 13. Then Faker goes on this historic run, 3 Worlds, potentially 4, and then ends up losing, and then going this drought. Yeah, the dynasty ends, and then him slowly building himself back up and building the team back up. And in this season, making it to Worlds, being the way they were, what was it? What was their final record? I can't remember the final record.
I don't know their regular season record that well.
It was something insane. I remember them being undefeated for a long time.
They were undefeated. I think it was spring of this year.
Was it spring?
Yeah.
Okay. So like just them being an unstoppable force at one point, and then culminating at Worlds, this whole huge story. I don't know if it was that getting on his nerves. I don't know what it was, but they just weren't playing well after game 2 and after game 1. I just feel like Zeus and Faker just weren't playing the best that they could have been. And then you have I can't remember his name right now. That was oh my god. From T1. At the end, he was emotional. I can't remember his name.
The guy who played support, right?
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
I can't remember his name right now. Forgive me. Honestly, after watching, there you go. Yeah. I get it's a broadcast, and as a broadcaster, and as a recorder, person with the camera, I don't know what they would call them. You want to capture the highs and the lows of Worlds. I mean, you capture this victorious celebration. You obviously want to capture defeat. I feel like they held the camera on too long on him.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Like, I get showing it, okay, because they've showed it in the past. Like in when they lost to Samsung, they showed what they were going through, but they didn't harp on it as much, especially like on one singular player. They kind of broadcasted it out to multiple players and broke it up. And I don't know, that didn't sit well with me. I'm not mad, but like I
I
don't know, I
I
didn't like
think
that.
so. It wasn't. It's not the fact. I wouldn't say it was the fact that it took long and all that stuff. It was more the fact of it got to a point where it showed him. They showed him, and his hands were shaking.
Yeah, they like zoom in.
It
It's
kept,
like
and also it was zoomed in already and all that stuff.
yeah,
But the fact that you started noticing his hands were shaking, that's
and you
where it was
didn't
like
cut.
it should have cut it right there, or at least not
Yeah,
gone back to it. Because I think that because that part was before the fact when they shook hands and all that stuff and they hugged at the
yeah,
end.
yeah,
Like a couple players hugged him at the end and all that stuff, but it kept going with that and all that stuff, which was fine. Like I said, until the hands start, they were showing the hand shaking and all that stuff, and I was like, I
yeah.
don't
And it
know if
was
that's a
like
good play. Because
yeah,
here's the thing, especially for the fact that these are players that don't live within the country and all that stuff. It's totally different. It's a totally different thing and how I feel about it because cultures are different and all that stuff, and it's hard to make sure of what's going on there for how I feel about it at least. I don't know, like I get the point. Like I said, it is part of storytelling and wanting to have something come, especially to prepare for the next season, for that stuff. But at the same time, it's like there is a point where it takes too long, you're taking too long. You shouldn't show that, or that stuff shouldn't be shown for how it looks, for what it provides, because no one knows of what that person is going through at the end of the day. Yes, he lost, but at the same time, it's like the context of him shaking his hands at that point. I don't know where that's going, and I don't know. I should be afraid, should be scared for the guy or sad for the guy at the same time, and all, or both and all that stuff. And that sucks to see, and that shouldn't have been something to show, at least in our opinion,
right.
my opinion at least,
Yeah,
and all that stuff. But and all that stuff. Like I said, overall, though, it's like I understand of the point of it and of the story of storytelling for that stuff,
yeah.
especially to have something to be prepared for next season, just to run up Manny with it. But at the same time, it's like you get to a point of where the hands are shaking and you don't
You
know if
should
you should
cut.
feel sad or scared. Be scared when you're actually
Yeah,
seeing that and all that
like
stuff.
at
Because
first it's like, oh man, I feel bad for the dude.
yeah, and
But then like you start getting to where shaking, it's like, should we call someone? Like, should someone stop? They go up there and
yeah,
help him or something?
yeah. Because then, and like I see, and this is the thing, and I don't know if you heard it. It was like the other thing is too. Like these are people. These are people that live in a different country from us and all that stuff too. So it was like I don't know I don't know how he lives in his own country and all that stuff and everything
Right.
like that, and what causes him to, if that's something just natural in general of how he feels emotional, or if just something or if it's something is wrong and all that stuff. So I don't want to feel, I don't know how to feel about that in general and all that stuff. And in all honesty though, but it's like at the same time, it's like I don't know if many people will look at it like the way we've just talked about it right now and all that stuff. I'm sure there probably people are, but I wouldn't be surprised at the same time if people would don't look at it the way we did and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for that stuff. So it's like it's interesting. And so far it's like it's not, from what I pay attention to in this grasp of things of and all that stuff. I haven't heard anything about it, or we haven't heard any updates or anything, so it doesn't look like it sounds like it was a big deal. I mean, like
Okay.
for him, for what happened,
Yeah. Yeah.
if something was happening to him and all that stuff, or if he took it like really hard. I mean, of course he did take it hard, but I don't like to a point where it's like you should probably help him and all that stuff and everything
Yeah. Yeah.
and all that stuff. Like that's what it is. So it wasn't that bad, hopefully, and all that stuff, and it was a tough loss at the end of the day. I think like again, Manny's showing this perspective of what he sees and how he plays, because he plays the game and all that stuff, and
Right.
he understands it more. He understands more what's going on. How I saw it and everything like that was being from a casual person that watches this and doesn't play the game and everything. This is literally one of the greatest showings I've ever seen in League of Legends, competitive League of Legends, from watching this stuff. And I will say, like from game one, within the 11th minute of the match, had already said like T1 won this and all that stuff and everything, and it looks like they were on their way. Games 2 and 3 were a little tough for us because of something we'll talk about in the podcast a little bit more, for that stuff. But from what I saw at least, and everything like that. It two looked more two. I did see two look more heavily in favored to DRX towards the end of the game. When it came to game three, it did look like it was a back and forth. There was a little bit of a back and forth from that. When we got to game four, I was literally shaking on my knees because I didn't know where it was going to go overall, just from what I was watching and what I can understand and all that stuff. And the fact that we saw a total of like 3 to 4 to 5 stuff getting stolen, objectives getting stolen, whether it be Baron or Element or Dragons or Drakes
Right.
and all that stuff. It was like, where is this game gonna go? And all that stuff. Just
Yeah.
between games 4 and 5 and all that stuff. And I was just more captivated of because of the story of what was told before the game and all that stuff. The fact that this is again Faker's first final in 5 to 6 years, if I remember correctly. Making it because he's been in the worlds, but he has never made it out. Made it 2 finals, and everything like that. And then of course there's Def, who's never made it to a final and who's never made it to finals before, and all that stuff. And this him being his first is very interesting to see and all that stuff. And I was more going for the fact going to the route of more towards DRX because the underdog thing is a thing is more of I think how I see it and all that stuff. With Faker, with T1 in particularly, it's more the fact that it's Faker's team and all that stuff. And T1's always sounds like it's favored no matter what. I
Yeah.
kid you not, my first year of watching League Esports, T1 didn't even make it to Worlds that year
Oh, okay.
and all that stuff. So it's like I knew of Faker, but I didn't know of who he was. I don't even think they made it to
You
MSI.
didn't see like the whole Korean hype train thing that
Yeah,
happened.
so I don't know the big deal of it and everything like that. So I don't
Yeah.
I get of who he is and all that stuff. But I think that year, I think both they didn't make it to MSI nor Worlds that year. My first year.
Oh, okay, got it.
If I remember correctly. I could be wrong on one of those. And then but the following year, they made it. They made MSI, and I was like, okay, it's finally time to see what the heck this team's about. And yeah, I now I understood and all that
Yeah.
stuff. And all that stuff. Though they I think they in the times I've watched, I think they've only won an MSI on one of those years, but they've never made it to finals and worlds.
Okay, so I think next season what we should do is we should do a control subject test, and you should just not watch it, and then maybe T1 wins.
Are you saying for the fact that since I've been watching, it's T1's on a downfall?
Yeah.
That's
It's
not
for
my
controlled.
problem. That's not my
It's
problem.
controlled.
That's not my
for
problem.
science.
That's not my
It's
problem.
for science.
That's not my problem.
Specifically for science.
But I can't say that though, because you can't literally say that because I've never watched. Though I know they've been in Worlds, I have not watched one of their matches.
Oh, okay.
And all that stuff and everything. I've always watched more NA stuff on those times and
Right.
all that stuff than I did theirs and all that stuff. And I didn't even watch a single. I didn't even watch the only matches I saw for them this year was semis.
Oh, okay.
I didn't watch them in quarters. I didn't watch them during groups and all that stuff. And semis and finals were the only time I watched the team.
Wow.
And they won semis, so
yeah.
So I don't know if it's Kurt. You can't put that on me technically. And everything, and you can't, and you can probably say like, yeah, it could have worked because they went undefeated in spring split. Because I don't watch LCK in general,
there you go,
and all that stuff. But like I said though, you can't say it because the 2 times I watched them, they won in semis, but they could have won and they almost won finals and all that stuff and everything. So that case study ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
It was but as soon as it got to game 5, but game 5 is where I think for me at least is like where I enjoyed it the most and all that stuff because it felt like there was some back and forth between with the team fightings and everything like that, and everything. Though the fact of T1 was in command due to the fact of having a substantial goal lead, though behind in kills and a good turret and a good taking out a good amount of turrets. The fact that so it's like I'm already thinking T1's gonna get this no matter what and all that stuff. It just felt like it at the same time. But especially when they took that Baron at that one in game 5. So I was like, this is it. But then DRX got what they needed to do, was able to get that fight to defend their Nexus and that towards the end, and then was able to come in and win for that one. I was left, so I was like, that was pretty cool to see and everything like that. And it was fun to see because like, and I think we'll talk about it more in the it'll be talked about more in the podcast for on the experience side of how the crowd was with it and everything like that, and it was exciting to see of like how like I say it was a split thing between the two teams and everything. And then but overall though, just the fact that everyone was still cheering no matter what was pretty cool to
Right.
see and all that stuff. So it was very exciting to see that stuff and all that stuff. And then, again, we'll talk about that more on the podcast.
Dude, that Baron still though.
Oh, dude, there was like
Dude, no, the one that it was like nearly a squad wipe.
in game that
I
was
think
what
it was game 4.
I think it was 4. I think it was game 4.
Yeah, game 4. It was game 4.
Because game 4 and 5 were
Just
the ones
the
that
eruption,
had the steals.
The eruption from that arrow stealing the Baron.
I was freaking out.
Was insane.
I was freaking out and all that stuff.
It was absolutely insane.
I kid you not, like, because it was game 4 where the steals started coming in, and every time Baron came up in 5, I was freaking out because I was like, "There's a potential steal."
Dude, they were defending so hard in game 5, which they needed to. I mean, it was good correction
because they learned from 4, and it was just like,
yeah,
okay, they've already stole some Barons and Dragons from us already. We can't let this happen. They can't let this happen again. Us, right. When I'm talking about DRX, T1 stealing the Barons from DX when they're getting close to that and all that stuff. But in game 5, they find that when DRX was going for Baron, T1's already coming in and all that stuff, and so instead of DRX continuing to try to get the Baron, they move out and they pushed them and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that was cool to see and everything like that. And they kept doing that too, because they didn't want to risk.
Right. They'd rather take the team fight than the risk the Baron, which is smart.
I mean,
that's a lot of gold.
It ended up happening one time, but the fact that
that was with the Dragon though.
No, I thought they did the Baron on 5.
No, they did the Dragon on 5.
Oh, okay. I could have sworn there was a Baron steal on 5. And all that stuff. But yeah. But yeah, it was fun. It was a fun game. It was a fun times. I had a blast. I found it like so crazy for the fact that this is my and Manny's 3rd time attending a league game together and all that stuff and everything. Our first one.
I haven't attended a pro league game by myself, so it's the same thing.
Oh, okay. So overall,
I've attended plenty of amateur tournaments, but that's about it.
Oh, okay. So yeah. And pretty much how it's gone for us is 20 I think it was 2017 LCS 3rd place match. We couldn't go to the championship because of religious reasons. And all that stuff.
Oh yeah. I was like, what?
Yeah. Second time we went to a summer split regular season LCS game in LA. And then our 3rd one happens to be a Worlds final.
Yeah. It was just awesome timing, to be honest.
It was literally awesome timing because NA got announced, I want to say 4 years ago. It was originally supposed to happen in 2021, but COVID happened in 2020. It was originally supposed to be in China that year. They had moved it to somewhere in Europe, but gave China 2021 and then delayed NA to come in 2022. So we were so as soon as and it's fine and it comes to find place areas. The thing was, though we knew it was coming here, we didn't know where they were gonna have what and all that stuff. So it was like we were really we were really careful about what was gonna happen that year of like who was gonna do what. And then when venues got announced and what cities, we knew San Francisco was gonna be the place.
I knew for sure we were gonna go no matter what it was.
Even especially as long as it was in the state of California,
yeah,
and all that stuff.
Yeah,
as long as it was the state of California, we were gonna go, and all that stuff, and everything. Like if it was in LA, we would have took a trip and everything like that, and took days off and all that stuff to make sure we attended. And the fact that not only San Francisco was a place, it was the finals. So it was like. So it was a lot of pressure. It felt like a lot of pressure. Now we'll probably get more into this on the podcast as an experience perspective and all that stuff. But I
Right.
kid you not, is like it felt like we got it was luck on our side and on
Yeah.
everything. Like this is a 4-year wait terms of making sure like for us attending this. And this I said this in a tweet. I, as a casual fan, I made probably the best decision of wanting to do this and all that stuff. But it was look on your
The sun
face.
started playing in my headset, and I was like, "What the hell is
Uh,
that?"
and all that stuff. And literally, it was the best decision I made. It's the best and all that stuff. We got 5 games. We got an amazing open ceremony that we'll talk about on the podcast also, and everything like that. Just everything in general was cool. All that stuff. I had a great time. The matches were amazing in my opinion for what I saw and all that stuff and everything. And I'm very excited. I'm very excited to watch more league next year and all that stuff and everything. And I'm hoping for it to come back to NA sooner than later and all that stuff and everything. And maybe this time around we'll actually have an NA representative at least making it past groups and all that stuff. That's not Cloud9 for that in particularly and all that stuff. But yeah,
I don't know, like maybe,
huh?
yeah, like like Liquid or something, you know.
What?
You said it's not Cloud9. I was like, yeah, like maybe Liquid or something.
As long as it's not Cloud9. The farthest they gotten was semifinals, and that's it. And everything. But
Honestly, I wouldn't even care
what?
if it was C9. I'd be like, all right,
No,
I'm rooting for C9. I'm
no,
sorry.
because it's always because that's the thing about C9, and they've talked about it before, and it happened in my time watching, so in my time of watching it. C9 is always mostly the team that always gets out of groups and all that stuff. They didn't this year and all that stuff, and all that stuff. But they're always most of the team that's from NA that gets out and all that stuff. And then like I said, they're the only team so far in my time watching to make it as far as the semis and all that stuff. So it sucks and all that stuff. And I'm like saying like I want another team because everyone's gonna talk about, oh, it's gonna be if C9 makes it to Worlds, they're gonna be like everyone's gonna say, oh, they're probably most likely gonna be the ones to get out of groups. And I'm like, let's not do this. And all that stuff. It was bad enough. It was a bad showing from overall though, it was a bad showing from NA teams going 0-3 in the first stage of groups and all that stuff. Yeah. Everyone had a hard time to get and all that stuff. That's the crazy part of what was the crazy part about that too. Though they were 0-3, they still had a chance to get out of groups and all that stuff if everything went their way. If everything had went their way, I think the closest one was EG, Evil Geniuses, and all that stuff. 100 Thieves could have done it. Nope, that ended up not happening in the second game. In their second game in the second set of groups and all that stuff. But that also talks about like how I feel about the format of Worlds in general. And we've talked about, and I think we already talked about this like a couple of times, and I just want to probably just get this one quickly. I feel that was like I think there needs to be a change in formatting, and one of the things we talked about was combining planes with groups and making it advancing it, and then they expand it to a round of 16. So whoever most teams out of groups go into round 16 and go from there and all that stuff. And then of course we eliminate the process of 3 of the 4 major regions gets 4 teams into Worlds, but we'll take out the 4th seed and we'll see how that happens and all that stuff. But we can talk about that another time and all that stuff and everything like that. But yeah, excited for Worlds. Was fun. It's a thing off my
thoroughly enjoyed it.
Thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a I guess you can technically say it's we were able to get it. I'm able to off my esports bucket list or like stuff that I've seen in esports so far. The last thing I need the only other thing I need to see now is a Call of Duty event and all that stuff. And we have something planned, but we're not going to talk about it yet and all that stuff.
That's true.
We have something planned, but we don't know if we got to figure out things to make sure it works out and all that stuff. But other than that, let's move on. We got NBA season has finally kicked off and everything since our last episode. And I wouldn't say I'm nervous about The Warriors right now. We're currently 3-7, 3-7, if I remember correctly. We're currently
So that means three wins to 7 losses, correct?
yes, yes.
Okay.
For those
No,
who
just
don't
making sure.
understand, for those who don't
Just
understand,
making sure.
and all that stuff. Because yeah, no, nobody understands what 3-7 means, and all that
I
stuff,
don't know. Maybe you're going to golf rules. I don't know.
and all that stuff, and
You never
everything like
know.
that, and all that stuff. But it's been a tough time. I'm not gonna lie. And all that stuff. We're doing our best, and all that stuff, and hopefully we can turn it around. So we can hopefully we turn it around. I'm not scared, I'm not nervous, and all that stuff and everything. We're just trying. We've gone through some things in the beginning before the season started, but we're getting past that. We'll all be fun. Now, as Manny has kindly put into the doc and all that stuff. No, the Mavs are not the best team in basketball right now.
Okay. Okay.
And all stuff. They are currently the 6th seed in the West and everything for that stuff. All right. So you're not one of the great teams right now and all that stuff. If you're looking for one of the great teams, you're either looking at Milwaukee, Cleveland, Utah, surprisingly, for that. And yeah, pretty much, and Portland pretty much too. But yeah, I don't think and no, Luka's not next to Larry Bird. Can you stop? And all that stuff. You're doing too much. This is the one thing about Manny when he becomes a fan of a sport. He doesn't know anything. He overhypes everything and all that stuff. So all that stuff and everything. He's overhyping it and all that stuff.
The only sport I don't know is basketball. So
Huh?
The only sport that I actually don't know is basketball.
Still no. Just in general. No, actually, no. In general, he overhypes everything and all that stuff. And I'm like, dude,
true.
you need to chill.
Not true.
You need to chill.
Not true.
And everything. You need
Not
to chill.
everything.
You need to chill.
Not everything.
You need to chill. All that stuff. Like calm down. All right. Mavs are playing good basketball right now, but I wouldn't call them one of the best teams in the league right now.
Okay. Well, that was the only question, really.
And all that stuff. So you're fine. You're 5-3. You're currently the 6th seed in the West, and all that stuff.
Okay.
So that would actually
good.
since NBA has now plans, you're currently solidified to be in the actual playoff bracket and not in the plans.
Okay.
So you're right now at this moment because it's really early.
Yeah. If playoffs started right now,
yeah,
we would be in.
Yes, so you're good there and all that stuff.
Got it.
And everything, so you don't have to worry about anything. And this is very early into the season. We're very early into the season. We don't know what's gonna happen next and all that stuff. So we got time. Just gonna let everything play out and we'll go from there and all that stuff. So
now how are the Kings doing?
Same. They're 3-5. They're still the Kings.
Okay.
3-5.
So they're still the Kings. Okay. Just checking. Just checking in.
And everything. They're nothing special. But all that stuff.
Okay.
And all that stuff. I was hoping they do a little bit better, but it is what it is.
I want to see them do good before the end of my life.
This is a lot.
I'm not a Kings fan, but I want to see them do good.
Oh my gosh!
Before the end of my life.
Oh, so you
just from being within the region.
I think it's just more of the fact. For me, it's like I don't care because I've seen the good. I saw the good years with Weber.
Yeah,
see all that stuff and everything. So it's like for me, it's like okay. And then plus I'm a Warriors fan, so it's like I have my 4 titles right now in my lifetime.
Yeah,
and all that stuff. So I'm good there. I think that's why I'm not tripping about it this much too about this season. Like we'll be fine.
We had a good run.
And all that stuff. We'll be fine and all that stuff. And it's like I'm trying not tripping about it as much. And then if it goes into like those seasons of transitioning, I'm gonna be like, you know what? We had a good run.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. And I'm not
I feel you. That's starting to go away from me for football. For a while there, I was like, it was weird.
It was good times.
I was like, it was good times because like I saw them win 2 Super Bowls. I want to say 2, but it could have been 1. No, 1. It was 1 Super Bowl, and it was like, the first team to get to 7, and all that, and then for a long time we were the only ones at 7. I was like, we're fine. And then Brady, had to tie it, or no, the first to 6. I'm sorry, not 7. And then Brady ties it with the Patriots, and I'm like, okay, it's time. I was like, I'm still a little bit better because Brady left the Patriots, and I was like, okay, I'm cool with it. And now it's like with all the stuff that's happening, I'm like, okay, I'm ready for us to be good again. So, but I do see what you mean. Where you're like, I'm kind of comfortable right now. We're okay. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
I'm gonna say,
I see what you mean. Yeah.
like if it, like I said, if it leads to that point of transition, I'm like, you know what? I'm good with having a couple losing seasons, and all that
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
and everything like
Hey.
that, and everything. I've had my taste and everything, and all that stuff, and and everything. So I'm not tripping about it as much. Um, but yeah, that's basketball. We'll probably get into it more when come December and everything. Also, everything's winding down, with other sports and all with all that stuff, sorta. And but yeah, and we'll probably next month we'll probably talk about the upcoming Christmas Day games for the NBA and see where that goes. We're not
That
gonna.
sounds interesting.
I mean, I mean, of course, there's the news of that's happening with.
Is that wait? Hold on, real quick. Is the Christmas game like a Thanksgiving game to football? Like it's kind of like a big deal or no?
Yeah, Christmas Day for
Oh,
the
okay.
NBA is similar. It's kind of like similar to the NFL on Thanksgiving. Though
Oh, okay.
I
Right.
am kind of though the NFL is starting to get greedy and decided to put games on Christmas Day
This is
and all that
true.
stuff
Hold on. You're gonna have to.
and all that stuff.
You're good. Keep going.
I was like I say, there's not much. I mean, other than that, I mean, of course, there's also the news that's been happening outside the NBA world with Irving, the Nets in general, pretty much, and all that stuff. Steve Nash getting fired, Ime Udoka possibly joining the team, to coach the team, though he's suspended by the Celtics. A lot of hear things and all that stuff, which is crazy weird in my opinion, and all that stuff. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the how we feel about what's going on with our own stuff in the sports outside of the craziness that's there and all that stuff. What do we think about and all that stuff? Because that can be talked about no matter what, in all honesty. Kyrie, the Nets, all that stuff, that can be here and there, and everyone can talk about that and stuff. Me, something should have been done sooner. But anyways, it is what it is. But anyways,
Right.
moving on to that. Let's get into hockey. So we did a little experiment, and I guess you can. I don't want to call it experiment, but it's just more the fact of. So we're planning on going to a hockey game this season, and all that stuff, and it'll be my very first hockey game and all that stuff to go and all stuff. And Manny thought it'd be a good idea wanted me to watch a game for scouting
Yeah.
reasons and all that stuff. I'm
No,
like,
not scouting reasons, just to get you kind of familiarized with the team a little bit more on like
I mean,
players or
yeah, he wants
the
me to
style
get
of play.
familiarized with and all that stuff. I'm like, why can I not do that when the actual game comes and all that stuff? And all that
Especially,
stuff. But he wants me to get ready now and all that stuff. I'm like, bro, it's early in
yeah.
the season and all that stuff. Let's just I can watch I'll probably watch I can watch some games on, but no, we decided to watch a game. It was actually, yeah, just past week
Yeah.
when by the time this episode comes out and everything. Um and we watched the Sharks play the Ducks and all that stuff on ESPN. We watched it over this. We watched it. We were on Discord. We were on Discord and all stuff. Somewhat of our own.
You mute yourself.
I was like a watch along in some way, and it oddly enough it happened to come out the same day as the new Apex Legends season, and but though we did watch the game, we did still watch the game and all that stuff. And all that stuff, but it was just more of the fact that I was like, I'm gonna be completely honest. I did kind of forget the game, though I had the previous game on ESPN and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And
The
Boston
who
and
was it? Okay, it was a Boston game.
it was the
Okay.
Boston game and everything that went into overtime, double
Yeah.
overtime, if I remember correctly. Um, and it was a good game. It lasted long. It went into. It was similar to the Boston game, just a little off here and there, and all that stuff, and everything. So it's like, I mean, it's like It's not that I'm not like lost on what happens in hockey. It's been a while since I know this stuff and all that stuff because I don't watch it consistently and everything. Um, it was a good. It was good. It was a good game. We had a fun time and all that stuff and everything to learn more
We
about
beat the Nets.
and everything. But yeah, we did it was just to see how we feel about the game and for me to learn about players. It was Carlson's first ever hat trick that game too, if I remember correctly.
Yes, it was.
And he's the defensive end for the Sharks. If so, those who don't know that at least and everything. Um, I had a fun time. I enjoyed it and all that stuff. And everything like that. But yeah, We'll probably do another one. I don't know. Probably do another one. Maybe do it a lot. Maybe do it on something like that. I'm gonna try to get into. I do want to try to watch more hockey. I do want to try to watch it. I know I said I was gonna try to do that last season, but that ended up not happening as much as I thought it would, and all that stuff. I do want to try to do it this season for sure, just to like watch a few things here. But then it's like the sports schedule is crazy this month, these next couple months, and everything like that. It's just gonna be so crazy and all that stuff. And we're getting to the tail end of college of and pro football, basketball season's just kicking in, along with hockey and everything like that. College basketball is about to get ramped up a little bit more right now, on all stuff. We got the World Cup happening. I'm like, oh my god, you got to be you're killing me right now with all this stuff and everything like that. And all that stuff. Uh, but yeah, just hockey, good time, good game, and all that stuff. Did we win that game? We won that game. I want to
No,
say
we didn't.
we lost that game. Okay, double check.
Yeah,
Now I remember. No,
because
I
we
remember
lost
now.
that one,
I
and then we
remember.
lost the one
I remember that.
again in a shootout against the Ducks.
Yeah,
When we were at Worlds, we lost that one as well.
yeah. So yeah. Before we get into football, a couple of things to also bring up. Two championship games recently ended. Excuse me. Sorry. Um. Ooh. Okay. First of all, we want to congratulate the Houston Astros for winning the World Series in 6 games, and everything like for that stuff. Very fun, a very fun series in my opinion, and everything. Manny and I did watch Game 1 together, and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, it was game one. Yeah,
It was Game 1 and all that stuff, and then we did pay attention to some of the other games. Game 6 did happen around the same time Worlds was happening for us, so we did keep track of that and all that stuff to see what's going. And we had a good time. It was a good game. Also, we want to MLS Cup was also this recently occurred. Also, congratulations to the Los Angeles Football Club on winning the MLS Cup by defeating the Philadelphia Union and all that stuff. And as the MLS season ends, pretty soon we got the World Cup coming up, as I mentioned earlier, November 20th, if I remember if it's the actual correct date and all that stuff. I could be wrong on that. Yeah, no, I was right. First game is Qatar versus Ecuador on November 20th at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Just to get everyone a heads up and all that stuff. And that's pretty much it. Oh, speaking of baseball, as I was ending, it's having its very first draft lottery.
Oh,
And
for who?
Huh?
For who? By the way, speak real quick before we go to baseball.
The MLB is having its first draft lottery.
I said like who's the person? But hold on.
Who's the person?
Shout out to Greenville and San Antonio for the what do you call it? Going to USL championship final. Okay.
I like the fact that you're putting in teams that are in the fight when I was just commemorating teams that already won titles. Okay, that works too.
Yeah, but it looks super going to be a pretty good game. So that's November 13th for everybody. It's gonna be a good one. Before we go into baseball, I don't want to go back because we were just inside person.
I was just mentioning the draft lottery, and that was it. I was gonna go further into it.
I thought you were going.
I wasn't.
So you don't know.
I wasn't.
You don't know like. You don't know like.
I don't
who's,
know.
Like, top right now.
I don't know who's top prospect, number 1 picks, and all that stuff.
Oh, okay.
And everything like that. I don't know any of that stuff. I just found it out to the fact that I just found out today.
Okay.
I do know the A's are favored to get the top seed. House, they have the best odds to get the top seed, so we'll see where that goes.
Do you know our odds or no?
No, I don't. I just saw A's, and that's it. So.
Oh, okay. How do I find that?
I don't. I'm trying to find the ESPN article right now for it. See if I can get it. See if I can pull it up for you at least. For that stuff, but I don't. Yeah, all I'm saying, all I know is that the fact that they're doing it, it's interesting. The fact that they're doing this is surprising, but we'll see how this works. And cool. You're also one of the other teams that have the best odds to get the top seed pick.
Oh, cool.
And all that stuff. you
So like we're
we have
we're
a
like in an exclusive
we have
place.
the A's and yeah, so yeah, we have a 16.5% chance of getting the top pick.
I'll take that.
You know, so we'll see that. But it takes place on the 6th of November. That's during winter meetings too. So we'll see how that goes.
So it took place for us recording yesterday.
Huh?
So it took place yesterday for us. The 6th
December
of November?
6th.
Oh, okay, December. I think you said November. I was like, so it happened yesterday? What the hell?
And all that stuff. Yeah. And all that stuff. Yeah. They announced something that happened yesterday.
Yeah, I was like, what?
And
That doesn't
all
that's not an
that stuff.
announcement. That's just
Anyways, moving on to football. So college football. Let's get into college football. College football before we go into the NFL. We are unfortunately recording this on a Monday, so we're not recording this on a Tuesday because when we were supposed to record this on a Tuesday. But we had to switch the recordings between this and the podcast for other reasons and all that stuff. And it would have been nice to have it on the Tuesday because the second week of the college football rankings, college football playoff rankings would have been released around that time. I can give you we can talk about last week's just to give you a heads up. Though we're going to talk about what happened this past week and all that stuff. So as I finally pull these up because they're giving me the wrong things. Oh, there we go. Why are you being weird? ESPN. ESPN. Oh, there you go. There we go. Found it. Okay. So on the first week of release, the top 4 teams are Clemson at 4, Georgia at 3, Ohio State at 2, Tennessee at 1. Already, a lot has already changed already within this top 4 already, as Tennessee has lost to Georgia this past weekend, and Clemson lost to Notre Dame this past weekend. So your top 4 is already right there now. Also, though they're outside of the top 4, Alabama at number 6 of the first week, lost to number 10 LSU that past weekend also. So already changes have been made. Already looks like the rankings are going to be shaken up already. We can get what I can provide is the most recent updates to the AP poll, and it has Georgia at 1, Ohio State at 2, Michigan at 3, TCU at 4, and then Tennessee, which has dropped to 5, and then Oregon at number 6 to round it all out and all that stuff. So, and to provide a few notables, Georgia had dropped to 10, and Clemson had dropped to 12. And on the AP poll and everything. And then LSU had jumped to number 7 to provide those notable changes. Now, it is most likely by the time this episode's out, the week 2 rankings will already be out and everything. So we won't know what we know until we get to. By the time we get to next month's episode, we're most likely already going to talk about who's in the playoff. So it doesn't matter as much as about talking about on this month's episode. But what we're probably going to be looking at is probably what's similar to what we're seeing on this past weekend's AP poll. Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, and maybe TCU, if not another team in general, because not everybody thinks TCU will probably make the playoff in general and all that stuff based off their regular schedule and all that stuff. So and everything. So I already talked about the big upsets such as Tennessee losing to Georgia, Clemson losing to unranked Notre Dame, and of course Alabama losing to LSU in Baton Rouge, and all that stuff and everything. Which we could actually technically talk about because that was one of the games we did watch while at Worlds too, and everything like that. During something that we'll talk about our experience there, everything, and all that stuff. The funny thing about to bring into this with the Alabama game, we were watching it on my phone, and it was in overtime because that's how it ended. And the interesting about it was there was a play on the red zone where pass led to a pass interference. But it looked like the call was challenged due to the fact of it looked like the ball was tipped after the ball was thrown from a defensive lineman and everything. And at the end, Paul called play did get reviewed, but it ended up being standing. The call stand, and it did end up being a ball. The ball was not touched by the player, and the pass interference counted still, and all that stuff. If I remember correctly, and all that stuff. Now, Manny and I watched it. I, from what I understand, I don't think a lot of people were talking about it after the game. But I feel from what me and Manny saw, and from what we looked at it, from what we could tell, the ball looked technically tipped, really, from the fingers.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. Because the thing is, if you look at the ball after it passes the hand, it does wobble a bit while it's up. Now you can say you can look at that as, well, it's just probably just a bad draw in general and all that stuff. Yeah, but at the same time though, it's like, shouldn't it stay somewhat accurate in a way, even if when it passes the hand, and not wobble? Because that thing wobbled when it slowed down and for that stuff. So it was an interesting play. But so when that happened though, when they didn't end up scoring, I don't think they ended up they scored, right? No, they did score. They did end up scoring. Bama did end up scoring. We ended up switching the game to the World Series just to see where it was going at. Next thing we know, we switched back to the Bama game just to get a quick update. The game's already over. LSU won the game.
Yeah.
And everything. So we were like, oh, what happened? And all that stuff. We lucky did see the last two plays of what happened and all that stuff, which was an amazing play. As them going for two was gutsy, but they got it and all that stuff. So it was congratulations to LSU on that win. And I think the question here is, Manny, for again to give context again, we don't know what the next rankings will look like because the fact that we're recording this on a Monday. And again, next month episode we'll probably be talking about who's already in the playoff already by that time and for that stuff. So Manny, my question to you, with LSU, with Alabama getting its second loss of the season and everything, do you think they have a chance of still making it into the playoff?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Okay. Reasons? I mean, come on. Gotta give context.
It's Bama.
Outside of that, I don't blame you for saying that. Like, trust me, almost anyone would say that because it's Bama.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. And they've done it. They've been into a playoff before with 2 losses. Yes. And all that stuff. But I'm just like, can you?
Well, it's like I don't explain it. I just know that Bama's Bama. I don't really know how to explain. Okay. I don't like that's the thing, but that's a thing. Like, it's just the facts. You know what I mean? I don't like it, but it is.
So here's the thing. So Bama's in the SEC West. So they still have to not only win out the next 3 games, which is 2 out of the 3 are already tough as it is, and all that stuff, and they still also have to make sure they have to make it into the SEC title game and all that stuff,
right?
And all that stuff. But here is the crazy thing about that. Though, they are they're in the West and all that stuff of the SEC and all that stuff. So it's in the East. It's most likely Georgia's going to come out of that side now that they won against Tennessee and all that stuff.
Right.
There's no way, unless some weird miracle happens towards the tail end. They would have, in order for them to make it at least into the SEC playoff, they need to they have to have at least LSU. They have to win against Ole Miss this coming up week, which is who they play, and all that stuff. Not only that, but they need to LSU has to lose their next 2 games and all that stuff because if LSU only loses one of those games the rest of the season, it's gonna go to LSU because they already beat Bama.
Right.
And all that stuff. So it's a tough thing and all that stuff. It's a tough way for them to get into that. Now, is there a scenario somehow they still get into the playoff without having to make it into the SEC title game? Surprisingly and crazy enough, yes, unfortunately, and all that stuff. Because if you look at it from the AP poll, this perspective, again, like I said, Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU are the top 4. Outside of them is Tennessee, Oregon, LSU, USC, UCLA, and then Bama's at 10, and all that stuff. You have to make crazy. There needs to be a loss between. Well, so you can already rule. You can already rule the Ohio State Michigan winner to be qualified for a college football spot because they play each other at the end of the season before the Big Ten title game and everything. So whoever wins that game is most likely gonna not only make it into the Big Ten title game, but most likely get their college football playoff berth. In how I see it, TCU has a rough schedule ahead of them also, and the fact that they have the Big 12 title game, so there could be a loss in there also. You would probably, I don't know if Tennessee. I think Tennessee can win out the rest of their games, though they won't be in the SEC title game. Oregon, they would have to win the Pac-12 and all that stuff to do that, along with and they still got to play USC if I remember correctly this season, because they already won again. They already beat UCLA. I think that's the team they beat out of those 2 LA teams. Yeah, they beat UCLA and all that stuff, and then and all that stuff. And also, their only loss is to Georgia.
Yeah.
So that helps them actually, too.
Right.
And all that stuff. So, and for that stuff, UC, and I said USC, they have to win out, most likely play Oregon. I think they'll probably have to play Oregon to win the Pac-12 and everything. We'll see where that goes. So there's, oddly enough and crazy enough, there is somehow a chance for Bama to make it into a playoff with 2 losses, and that's possibly without having to go into the SEC title game too, which is the crazy part and all that stuff. Now, do I agree with your assessment of can they? Yes. Do I think it's crazy and bullshit at the same time? Of course.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. And all that stuff
and everything like that. Because here's the thing, they are 6 right now before the loss in the college football rankings. There's a possible chance, even though they have lost to LSU, I will not be surprised if they only dropped at least 2 spots.
Yeah, I wouldn't be either.
You know, and stuff and everything. It'll be a more shocker if they keep him at that same spot.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. So again, we are talking about this before the second week revealings of the college football rankings and all that stuff. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be crazy and all that stuff. I'm just like, and it's gonna
hold on. Wait.
What?
Never mind. Wait.
What?
Yeah. Hold on. Continue. I'm getting this clarified first before I say it.
As we continue, though, it's the reason why I am praying and hoping for a 12 team playoff, because of stuff like this. It's Bama is still in this in some crazy way, and it sucks to see this and all that stuff. And hopefully, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if we're gonna, all that stuff. Probably won't even like upload this tonight, and I'll probably wait till week 2, and then I'll do like a mini reaction after this episode just to add it in and see what I have to say about this and all that stuff. But I hope, all I know is Alabama's already has 2 losses within the SEC and all that stuff, and the fact that they keep them in here in contention and all that stuff, and possibly not having to be able to not even be in the SEC title game is going to be crazy to see. And all that stuff if they somehow get in, just because of the fact of what else is here. Because Clemson's already lost, so they're already out and all that stuff. We got to wait till what happens with Michigan and Ohio State at the end of the season and all that stuff. The Pac-12 is still a tight race in some way. TCU is the only Big 12 team within this that has a chance of making it to the playoffs, and they have to make sure they win out and win the Big 12 in order for them to stay. So a lot of things can happen, and I do not know what's going to happen and all that stuff, and I'm very nervous. Manny, do you have that thing yet?
I sent it to you. I can't get clarification because there's only one that I see, but this dude I know is very valid, but I'm not sure if it's a joke or not, so I can't say it.
Oh, that's a joke.
Because I know that it is a joke. Okay, that's a joke. Never mind. Okay.
That's a joke.
Never mind. Never mind.
And I was like,
It just popped up for me.
because when you saw it, I was like, no, that can't be true. Because I just read, because it's like they just said that they
Yeah,
were
I was
announcing.
looking it up and I was like, what the
And as
hell?
soon as you
And
saw,
then I was like, wait.
because I know, because the person that shows the tweet is like, I was like, that can't be real. And then like I already knew it's not.
Yeah. Okay. I thought so too. I just wasn't sure because I know that dude's pretty valid and all that stuff.
No, yeah, that person is valid. But the fact that what's next to is the name says it right there.
Okay.
And also, and I can double check that myself just to be safe.
I couldn't find anything, so
and all that stuff, because it's like, well, I mean, like what you could have done is actually look him up, like actually him, on Twitter, and just look at his thing, look at his timeline.
Okay.
And which I'm doing right now, so you're good.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's a fake. It's a fake.
Okay. Moving on then.
And all that stuff. So we'll see what happens. We still got time. There'll be time between this episode and next episode to see how the rest of the college football land plays out, and all that stuff. But like I said, next month episode we'll pretty much be talking about who are the top 4 teams going to be in the playoff right by that time, and we'll probably have a lot to discuss between now and then for that stuff. So we'll check that out. We'll hopefully, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like we hope for pretty much Bama not making the playoffs at the end of the day. But at the same time, we won't be surprised if somehow they get in the most craziest way possible, and all that stuff, because this ain't the same Bama that we've been seeing in their whole dominance. They barely won against Texas.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that.
And all that stuff. Like, come on, now, and their starter was out most of that game.
Yeah,
that's a lot right there. Okay, on to the finale. NFL time. NFL time.
The info.
Huh?
The info.
And all that stuff. Manny, so you've known me for a while and all that stuff. And when it comes to sports teams, have you ever seen me like upset about when they're not doing well in general? Have you ever seen me upset?
No.
And all that stuff. Like, do I like be like, am I already that person that just like, oh, there's always next season and all that stuff kind of person?
There's always next season, but you're never upset. You're just optimistic for the future.
I'm always optimistic, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
What if I tell you I'm actually upset?
I believe you.
And all that stuff. I mean, would you be surprised? Are you surprised?
No.
Okay.
No.
Are you just because of the context of how the team is?
Yeah. I'm surprised. I'm surprised it hasn't happened sooner.
Oh.
I'm not surprised that it's happening.
Well, I'm surprised it hasn't happened. The optimistic in me was being the optimistic one.
But I wasn't sure how long it was going to last.
It finally broke after yesterday.
Okay.
After this last game and everything, it finally broke. And all that stuff. I don't know what the hell is wrong with the with the Raiders right now, and for the first time ever, I'm actually pissed. Like, I don't get it. How do you have a 20 point lead in halftime and then blow it at the end for the third time this season?
That I couldn't tell you.
How is that every game we have played, we are always in it, but somehow mess it up and everything? Literally, every single game we've played is a close one, except for the blowout against the freaking Saints. And all that stuff. It's just like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding? Look at this. Look. Week 1, 24-19. Week 2, 29-23. Week 3, 24-22. Week 4, which we won. Against the Chiefs, 30-29, and all that stuff. The only bad loss is the one against the Saints.
Yeah.
You can look at this and literally we would only have technically one loss.
Yeah, technically speaking. Yeah. Because that was the only unanimous decision that the Saints won in a weird way. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, just based off that and all that stuff. Like, what the hell, man? And all that stuff. Like, serious. Like, this is a good team. These are good players. And all that stuff. We literally bolstered our defense and all that stuff like that. Getting Chandler Jones, we got the top receiver in Devontae Adams and everything like that. And he popped off in the first half this past Sunday
Yeah.
and everything. And then, oh my god, oh my god, again, like Manny knows this. Manny knows this. I am not that part kind of. I've never been like upset about a team when we have a bad season and all that stuff. I've
Yeah.
always been the optimistic one and all that stuff. And then until like literally like it cracked against the Saints. It started cracking against the Saints. That's when the crack showed
Okay.
and all that stuff. The crack showed because we won against the Texans and all that stuff and everything. And also
Yeah.
the cracks started showing against the Saints, and then after seeing, because I didn't watch the game, but I was like, I knew that we had a good lead, and I was like, okay, cool. And then I happened to check the game. The next thing I know, we lost, and I'm like, what? Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
And all that stuff. It's like, how do you do that? And it's just like it's like I'm already like halfway, like we're 2-6. Like for us to go, we would have to go on a crazy winning streak in order to get something good out of this.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's gonna be a tough one.
but yeah, look,
That I don't think you guys can do it.
well,
The way
because
you guys have been playing.
we play the Colts this week, and they just went through they're going through a coaching change. But then again, I wouldn't be surprised if we lost that one. In all honesty, now and
Yeah.
everything. Then we play
What's your guys' track record?
Then we play at Broncos, at Seattle, which it's already tough right there. Go against the Chargers. Okay, that's not going to be bad. They're not been playing well either, and all that stuff. At Rams, at New England. I mean, against New England at home. Then we played Pittsburgh and all that stuff for that game and all that stuff. Niners and the Chiefs to end it at home.
Yeah.
For those last 2 games. It's some of the games can be winnable, but at the same time, it's just like it's like I'm now at that point where I'm like, yeah, we have winnable games, but at the same time, there's a most likely chance we can blow them.
Yeah.
And all that stuff.
No, I get you. I'm a Pirates fan. I get you.
Sucks. It sucks.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. Like I don't get it. Like I don't fucking get it. And all that stuff. And everything. It's like I never question coaching because, like, again, I don't know a damn thing about coaching a team, in all honesty, and all that stuff. But it's like,
But now you're starting to question it.
but I have to question it. Like,
Yeah.
like, come on now. Like, this is supposed to be Josh McDaniels, I guess you could say, second coming from learning his lessons and being back under Belichick and all that stuff. We get this top defensive coordinator and all that stuff and everything like that, and it's just been horrible ever since.
Yeah,
it's like it literally, like, I kid you not, the team shows it in the first half of the game, and then just like all of a sudden it's like the second half, it's like I've been watching for the past I don't know how many years now of watching this team and all that stuff, and I'm just like, come the on. And everything like that. And it's just like what even sucks about it, it's like normally I can be like, because the thing is, like, normally I can be like, oh, basketball season started, I can just worry about that now because the team's not doing well. Yes, the Warriors are doing not doing that well this season either, but at the same time I am more optimistic about that than I am about this right now. All that stuff. And I'm already and again, at that point in my time for the Warriors, I'm at that point now where if we go into that transition phase of rebuilding, I'm fine with that. And all that stuff. This is supposed to be a team that was supposed to pretty much be competitive and make the playoffs and all that stuff. I even have Super Bowl intentions, in my opinion, on this and everything like that. I really didn't, and all that stuff. I was just like, we're gonna compete, we're gonna win, we're gonna make the playoffs. That was me. Now they're disappointing me with this and all that stuff. Like, seriously. Again, and I say it again, like, most of the losses are close games. They've been close games. Like,
none of them are complete blowouts other than the Saints game.
Yeah, under the Saints game, it's like they've been close, but 3 of those losses were blown leads. Also, that's the bad part about it.
Right.
You know,
yeah, that's also the part where you gotta look at and say, okay, what were and at one point you gotta start correcting stuff. I mean,
exactly, and you think,
Let it up. Yeah, let it up.
I'm just like,
Yeah, yeah,
is this how all the fans like when their teams are just doing horrible?
yeah, yeah. I've been struggling for a while in baseball.
And
That's why I just stopped watching baseball. With
yeah,
um,
I'm just like,
I mean,
come on.
it gets to a point where you're just like, I don't know what to do. But then you'll go through phases where you're just like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to be a part of this anymore.
I
And then
just
you'll be like, no, this isn't right. And then you'll get to a point where you hate the team but support them till you die. You know what I mean? You're
well, I've been
you're
doing that.
barely there.
I've been doing that for a while, just being optimistic
Yeah,
about
yeah.
it.
But like, yeah, yeah. But there's a point where you're just like, you know what? We're gonna lose every season, but I love them. You know?
That's me. That's literally me.
Yeah,
So like the last 3 seasons, I've been like, you know what, we're not going to do well. Let's just go. Let's just not worry about it. And then we've done okay, stuff. I think it's like this season it was like kind of like it was a lot of high expectations, really. Who we got and all that stuff, a new head coach and everything. The AFC West was supposed to be this top division at the NFL, and right now it's just the fucking Kansas City dominating like always and all that stuff and everything. So it's just like, ugh. I'm just like, ugh, I'm just done. I'm really done. I'm just like, we're 2-6. I don't know how we can get out of that and all that stuff. Like unless by some weird ass miracle, but it's gonna be crazy for that to happen. And I'm just like, let's just move on. Let's just and this here's the thing. Like at the end of the day, it's like I won't be surprised if there's gonna be some like player changes for no reason and all that
right.
stuff and everything like that. And it's just I think it's like I kind of agree with what everyone else is saying. I think it's just a coaching. It should be probably just more of a coaching thing, and it's just a pain in the ass to deal with another
Yeah.
coaching change because I can't deal with that shit anymore.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, thankfully, well, no, not thankfully. To a point, I'm glad we haven't had too many coaching changes. We need one.
Ah,
That's
shut up.
more a coordinator.
Ah,
It's more
shut
a
up.
coordinator. We really need a new offensive coordinator. Matt
Ah,
Canada has to. They have to get
shut
rid of
up
Matt
with
Canada.
your
But
3 head coaches in the history of Steelers and all that stuff. I think
hey, don't blame me
okay.
that we have just what the best damn head coach in the league in general in history. I say in the NFL history.
I would say the one cool thing about this season so far is the Dolphins.
Yeah,
They've been a fun team to see and all that stuff.
and a scary team to see. See what
Yeah,
happens to them. But
and the crazy thing about it though, if you look at it, if Tua wasn't hurt, they would be undefeated right now. It would be so crazy to see. That's so crazy and all that stuff. And it's just like, wow. I'm just like, they're a fun team to see and all that stuff and check out and see all their highlights and everything. And I'm set. It's gonna be interesting to know how that plays out towards the rest of the season, and we'll see where that goes. But other than that, let's get into picks and all that stuff. We've weeks. I think we did week 6 through 8, and um, both Manny and I ended up with winning records this time around.
awesome.
Manny got 8 out of 4, 8 wins, 8 wins, 4 losses. I had
Wow.
7 wins, 5 losses. So it wasn't. So it's a close. It was a close one those rounds. So, but total, Manny is now from his disastrous. What was it before? Give me a sec. 5-7 record from the first set of picks. He has jumped
Did I
to.
break even?
He has jumped to 13-11.
Oh, okay.
From the
So I
pick.
almost broke even.
You broke you broke even. You're
Yeah,
over by 2 games and all that stuff,
yeah,
which are 8-4, but I still hold a commanding lead with 16-8
yeah. Okay, yeah, yeah. I
and all that
figured
stuff
that though.
and all that stuff. To provide like a recap on wins on what happened, to provide a quick context. For week 6, we had Jets and Packers, Bills and Chiefs, Cowboys and Eagles for those ones. The only differences was the Jets and Packers. How Manny picked the Jets and I picked the Packers. The Jets won that game. And then the Bills and Chiefs, I picked the Bills. Manny picked the Chiefs. I picked the Bills in that game and everything. And the Bills won that one. Cowboys and Eagles, we both picked the Eagles, and they won that game. On to week 7, we had the Giants and Jaguars, Seahawks at Chargers, and Chiefs at the Niners. The only thing that separated between me and Manny was the Giants and Jaguars game. I picked the Giants, Manny picked the Jaguars. Giants won that game. Then with the next 2 games, we both got right, which was Seahawks winning and the Chiefs winning in those 2 games. Week 8, Cardinals and Vikings, Giants at Seahawks, Packers at Bills. This one, we had we both picked the Vikings, which won that game. Manny picked the Giants. I picked the Seahawks winning up that game, and then and then for the Packers and Bills, Manny picked the Bills winning, and they won that one. For that, and on to week 9. Oh wait, my bad. Week 9. We did 6 through 9. Yeah, right. 6 through 9.
Yes.
Right? Am I doing that right?
Yes. I think
Okay.
so. Is
2, 3, 4.
You have the list up.
Yeah, 6 through 9. My bad. Yeah, 6 through 9. I'm double
Okay.
checking. Yeah, 6 through 9. Almost stuff. I could be wrong, but we'll see. We'll get that all fixed sooner or later. We'll clear it up.
We'll edit it post.
Yeah. Week 9, we Colts and Patriots. Both me and Manny picked the Patriots, who won. Bills at Jets. Manny picked the Jets and won that game. Oh yeah, because this is the most recent one. This is actually the recent week.
Oh, okay.
This is the most recent week, yeah. So with the Jets winning against the Bills, and then Manny and I both picked the Rams against the Bucks, but the Bucks ended up winning that one.
Oh, okay, great.
And all that stuff. So yeah. So that's so far. Again, for the totals, Manny has a 13-11, and I have the lead. I am in the lead with 16-8 on all those games. We do have weeks 10 through 14 happening this week, happening for these picks and all that stuff, or as we're getting towards the tail end of the season, and some interesting picks. Some interesting games I've selected based off what we have recently. There's probably a couple of teams on here multiple times throughout the weeks, but hey, this is what it is when you're trying to find good matchups.
This is correct. Yeah.
And all that stuff. So we'll start off in week 10. The games I've chosen are Falcons at Panthers, Seahawks at the Bucks, Vikings at the Bills. Starting with Falcons at the Panthers. Manny, who looks like you're having? Now, if you don't know, the NFC South is actually still competitive, even though the team with the winning record is the Bucks. And also, so this is a chance of trying to win this division. So what are we looking at right now, Manny?
Falcons.
We got the Falcons. I agree with Manny, so we'll go both for that.
You're just too legit.
Exactly. Second game, Seahawks at the Buccaneers. These are 2 division leaders going against each other. Seahawks are looking very, very fine, and of course, it may look like Tom Brady may have got his mojo back from his Week 9 performance. What are we looking at here?
Bucks.
We got Manny with the Bucks. I'm still riding with the Seahawks on that one. I feel I have some other. And then another division leader match. We have the Vikings at the Bills. The Vikings still riding good in the NFC North, while the Bills, though, still top of the division, looking a little shaky in these last couple weeks. Manny, what do we got?
They're riding a little dirty. I'm gonna go Bills still. I don't know. I can't. When you said I don't know. That came in my head, so I said it.
I'm not
sure what it means.
I'm also going to go with the Bills on this one. I do believe they're a better team overall than the Vikings are between these 2 top teams and all that stuff. But yeah, we're not doing. I know the last 2 times we've done this, we've done with odds. We're not going to do them for the rest of the weeks because I know it's most likely there's not going to be happening for all these future weeks. So we're just not going to do them in general for now.
Got it.
And all that stuff. On to week 11. On week 11, we're the rematch between the Jets at the Patriots. In week 11. Give me once as I look for this. Along with that, we also have Cowboys at the Vikings and then the Chiefs at the Chargers with an AFC West divisional matchup in that last game. To provide a little bit more context onto certain games. The Jets did play. I once did play the Patriots earlier this year. Oh, just not that long ago in week 8. They did lose to them in 22-17. Manny, are we seeing that again in this game in week 11?
Are we seeing them losing or are we seeing them winning?
Jets losing. Are you seeing the Jets losing this one?
No,
No. Okay. I'm
I
with
don't
Man.
think so.
I'm actually with Manny on this one. And all that stuff. They've been playing extremely well, and all that stuff. I feel like the team's been awesome to see, and hopefully they'll get that revenge game going. They'll get that revenge win. Second game, Cowboys at the Vikings again. Cowboys are still up top. Oh, Cowboys are the second best team in the division right now, if I remember correctly. Um, for that, Manny, what do you feel? How do you feel about this game? This is at Minnesota, just to provide a little context and everything.
So context aside, I'm still going with Minnesota.
Minnesota. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah.
So as I said, currently Dallas is still is tied second place in the division with the Giants right now at the current at with a 6-2 record. For that, as for the Minnesota Vikings, see North, they are currently 7-1 at the top of the division, looking to run most likely probably going to run away with this division if anything else if unless some miracle happens. But you are sticking with the Vikings, correct?
Yes, Sam.
All right, I'm gonna go with the cow. Oops, I did the wrong letters on that one.
That's right.
And I will go with the Cowboys on this one. For that, just for odd sake, just to have something against you at least.
Yeah.
Chiefs at the Chargers. These are the top two teams in the AFC West. They are only I think a game apart for that division
Wow.
for that division lead right now at the moment. If I remember correctly, this is in LA right now. This is in LA. And if I'm correct, this is the Chiefs did beat the Chargers in week 2, 27-24 for that one. Manny, what are we looking at for this one in week 12 and week 11?
You said Chiefs Chargers, right?
Chiefs at Chargers.
I'm going Chiefs. I can't.
Chiefs. You can't go wrong
I
with the
want to
Chiefs.
go with. I want to go with Chargers, but I can't.
Here's the thing. Though they're at they're in second place of the division with a game just being a game away from them. I can't. The fact of trying to trust this team,
Yeah.
and all that stuff, especially how they play with going on fourth downs and all that stuff, and it hasn't gone well for them. It's going to be interesting to see and all that stuff. For that. Other than that, but that is week 11. That is going to be week 11 and all that stuff. On to week 12. And you know what this means? Week 12 means Thanksgiving games are happening this week. We do have one happening. We do have one selected for that. That is the Cowboys game. They will be playing the Giants that game. So we do and all that stuff to provide a little more context on that stuff. The Cowboys did play the Giants in week 3. I believe that was a Monday night game, and that was with Dak hurt at that time too. They won that game 23-16. For this one in particular in New York. This was in New York or New Jersey particularly and all that stuff. With this being in 18 Sam and with Dak most likely starting the game for this one, hopefully with no injury between now and then. Manny, what are we looking at for this Thanksgiving game?
As long as there's no injuries, I'm going Cowboys.
Cowboys, okay. Yeah, so,
as long as Dak stays healthy.
As long as Dak stays healthy. Okay, here we go. All right. Man's gonna go with the Cowboys. I'm actually gonna go with the Giants and all that stuff. Now, this is a big game. They are tied right as of right now. They are currently tied for second in the NFC East for that in that division and everything like that. But I do feel most of the times when it comes to the NFC East, when you have top teams playing against each other, unless you're the Eagles right now at the moment, I feel like they're gonna split this series this year and all that stuff with this one since they already lost and all that stuff. And sadly enough, it's gonna have to happen with Dak starting this game and all that stuff. Now, unfortunately, on to our second game. We have the Bengals at Tennessee. It looks like the Bengals are coming back to their regular stride as they're only a game behind the Ravens in the NFC North right now at the moment. Titans looking like they're going to run away with the AFC South since nobody else is competing with them right now at the moment in that division, though they're playing semi-mediocre football. And after Derrick Henry's amazing performance this past Sunday, what are we looking at right here, Manny, for this game?
Titans.
Titans. Okay. I feel like the Bengals are coming back in their stride a little bit and everything. But hopefully that can continue in this game. And I'm actually gonna pick them for that one. So
You go with Bengals. Okay.
I'm gonna go with the
Okay.
Bengals on that one. Stuff for that one. Just to
The
run everything.
Bengals.
That's 2 games we're split on right now so far. That's normally it's normally 2 games and one that we split on, but this one is the first one we're actually splitting on. This is the first week I think this time around where we're split on 2 games. Last game for this week is going to be Atlanta at Washington against the Commanders. Though the Commanders are at the bottom of the plate with a 4-5, but I do believe they have full chances of actually making playoffs and
Okay.
everything. And also, if I remember correctly, let me see here. Yeah, they're currently in the overall bracket. They're currently ninth in record wise and all that stuff. Um, on top of them is the Falcons and everything. So I think it's the top 7 teams that get into the playoffs now. I forget. Um, and all that stuff. So they, like I said, Commanders are in contention for playoffs. I don't think there's no way. I don't think there's a chance for them to get into the playoffs unless unless a miracle happens. But they are still in contention to make playoffs as a wild card. So, all that stuff. And of course, Atlanta, like I said, Atlanta is have a chance of getting into the playoffs. Just either from wild card um or winning the division, as they're currently tied with Tampa at 4-5 on record wise and all that stuff. So, what are we looking at here, Manny?
They should bring back. Hold on. Side note real quick. They should bring back those Atlanta retros, like the '90s ones, like the all black with like the very little red. They need
Oh
to
yeah,
bring those back. Those were fired.
yeah.
And they gotta bring back the old bird. The new bird. I'm not feeling the new bird. I haven't felt it since they announced it. It's not the same.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, what was the teams? I'm sorry.
Teams. Atlanta at Washington.
Okay, right. I don't think Washington can do it. I'm gonna go with Atlanta.
Okay.
I don't think the Commanders can do it.
I think this is gonna be the one we're gonna both agree on.
Yeah.
So that's week
I don't think
12.
Washington.
So that is week 12 for that in particular. On to week 13. First game is Bills at Patriots, NFC East, AFC East matchup and everything like that. As I said, right now it is to provide a little more context on the AFC East. It is a very close match with every single team over 500. The Patriots being at the bottom with a 5-4 record. The Bills with a 6-2 record currently, and all that stuff as of the day we're recording this episode. This is week 13. Well, stuff can change between now and then. I think this is their second matchup against each other. Let's double check. No, this is actually going to be their first matchup this season. All that stuff. They play at the end of this. They play at the end, the final week of the season for the second time. So what are we looking at this? So what are we looking at for this first matchup between these 2 teams, Manny? This is in New England. Also, to provide a little more context on that too.
Bills Mafia is coming in and taking it.
Who?
Bills Mafia.
Oh,
you're gonna walk in.
I was like, did he say Bills Mafia? Because I was like, that's what I was hoping he'd say. Yeah, I am also going to go with the Bills. Also, I still believe the AFC East has to go through Buffalo to win this division and everything. Though everyone is at a 500 record, I do believe this is Buffalo's going to end up coming out of this division for this one. And all that stuff. Second game is Jets at the Vikings and all that stuff. Again, the Jets are part of the very competitive AFC East right now against the Vikings, who are in the commanding lead of the NFC North. And also, if this is in Minnesota, where are we looking at here, Manny?
Vikings.
Ooh.
Oh.
Ooh. I'm going Jets.
Oh.
I'm going Jets with this one. I like the Jets. And all that stuff. The quarterback has a little some issues, but the team around him is helping them getting through those wins to get these wins and all stuff. And that's what counts. And all that
Jets.
And all that stuff. All right, final game of week 13, and honestly, I think this is going to be a very an anticipated matchup, depending on how the rest of the season goes between these 2 teams, and that is the Miami Dolphins at San Francisco 49ers. yes, did I pick a Niners game as did I say a Niners game is my most anticipated game of the season so far? Yes, I did. I don't care because I like football in general and all that stuff and all that stuff. Not only that, this is Coach Mike McDaniel's return to San Francisco after being their offensive coordinator for a while now and everything like that. The high offense of Miami against the very intriguing offense of the San Francisco Niners. Now that Christian McCaffrey is part of that team and everything. What are we looking at here, Manny, with the Miami at San Francisco? What are we looking at here?
Okay, so there's a lot of factors in this for me. There's a lot of factors. One of the big ones is Jimmy G playing at this point?
I think he's still gonna be playing.
Do you think he's still going to be playing?
Because Lance is out. I think Lance is out for the whole season, if I remember correctly.
Is he out for the whole season?
If I remember correctly.
Okay. If Lance is out for the whole season, and Jimmy G's in, it's going to be a hard one because Tua wouldn't be back with the Dolphins, right? Tua's out full season, right?
No, Tua's been playing. He played this past Sunday.
I was busy. What's still gonna be hard though? Man, I want to go with Tua. This is in Frisco, or this is in
it's
Santa
in Frisco.
Clara?
It's in Frisco.
Okay, so in Santa Clara.
Give me 1 second. I mean, keep going while I look something up.
Okay, so that's a hard one. Eric's probably mad right now. I'm gonna go Niners.
It's an afternoon game. Okay, so I was checking to see if it was like a Sunday night game or something like that, but it's an afternoon game. So
I'm gonna go Niners.
You're gonna go Niners. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Is this what I'm looking
They're
for?
playing at Levi. Jimmy G's. No, I'm gonna go with Jimmy G's in.
Is this for news recent? That's the 19th. Okay, that's not helping me.
Let's just go with Jimmy G being in, and I'm saying Niners.
You're going with the Niners. Jimmy G coming in and all that stuff. Okay, I like interesting choice. I'm trying to find some information on this injury.
That's fine. I say Vito.
Everything is probably giving us a best chance to say this. Oh yeah, he's not playing this season.
Yeah, so then I'm going Niners.
Yeah, so Jimmy G's most likely starting that season. Starting that
game
and everything. I am actually gonna go with the Dolphins.
Okay.
So I feel for offensive wise, I think between two offenses, I think Miami is a more dynamic offense than the Niners are. Nothing against Debo and McCaffrey and all that stuff and everything that helps them out a lot. The only thing that hinders Miami offense is a solid running back. Though I think they did recently pick someone up from the trade deadline, and that'll probably help them out a bit. But I feel like I know the Niner defense is a pretty good defense, but I don't know if it's good enough to take out Hill and Waddle on the receiving core and everything.
Okay.
And all that stuff. So I'm going to go with Miami. All right. And who knows? I think by week 13 they do flex scheduling.
Okay.
And so what is this, week 13?
Yeah.
Let's see here. Week 13. What is the current Sunday night game? So the Sunday night game currently for that one is the Colts at the Cowboys. Honestly, I can see that getting flexed.
Yeah, I can see that.
I can see that getting flexed. And all that stuff. Because, like, I feel like depending how between now and week 13, which is December 4th, if both teams still play positionally well and all that stuff, and I feel like they can and all that stuff, I feel like that game's the one that's going to get flexed to Sunday night
Yeah, I can see that happening.
and all that stuff. Like
I mean, yeah,
every other game that's here, the only other one I can see getting flexed is Kansas City at Cincinnati. That's the only other one. Maybe Tennessee at Philadelphia, but that's it. The only reason why I say Kansas City at Cincinnati because that's the AFC title rematch,
yeah,
and of course Cincinnati has been playing better and all that stuff. But again, like we're looking at this way ahead of time.
yeah, that's true. So like, we don't know how they're gonna be at that point in time.
Yeah, but I feel like though, if there's a game to flex, and depending if
It's
they
gonna be that one.
if both teams play still well,
Yeah,
it has to be that game and all that stuff because especially on offensive front for both teams and all that stuff.
right.
Because I can see this being a high scoring game
Yeah,
too
I can too.
and all that stuff. So it's like it depends on how everything else goes between now and then and all that stuff. And okay, and week 14, we are our 3 games here are Jet. Hold on, I gotta double check this.
What? Oh, the game or the time?
One of the games. No, what? I have to double check the games.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I put the wrong. Oh, okay. There we go. That's better. So I had Jets at Bills, but then I had it in it. The second game said Eagles at Jets. I was like, wait, what? I had the city right, just had the wrong team name in because they play the Giants.
Got it. Okay.
And then the final game is the Dolphins at the Chargers. Those to round out week 14, our next 3 picks will be those 3 games. First, starting off with Jets at Bills, and I think, and if I remember correctly, we've already think this is their Bills. Yeah. So yeah. As we already know, the Jets already recently just played the Bills, and they won 20-17. Again, this is going to be a very hot race to win the AFC North, East, AFC East, and everything. And this is at Buffalo in December. Most likely going to be a little more colder weather, but this is New York, so we'll see how that goes. Manny, what are we looking at here for this game right here?
I'm going Buffalo.
Buffalo. Honestly, I will go Buffalo on this one too. I feel like this is going to be a game that's going to, because these are the teams that play twice a year. I feel like this one is going to be the rematch to where they win this one and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Our second game is going to be Eagles at the Giants and everything like that. Currently, right now, the Eagles are still the only undefeated team in the NFL. Will that continue on into week 14? Who knows between now and then? Currently, as I said, they are currently undefeated. If we want to give a little context, their next games before they play the Giants are the Commanders, the Colts, Packers, and then Tennessee and all that stuff. So winnable, capable, staying undefeated before they play the Giants, or they could lose one of them. Who knows? And all that stuff. But Manny, what do you think about this matchup here, and who's going to win it?
Giants.
He's picking the Giants. Now, do you think this will be the first loss, or will they already have a loss by then?
I'm gonna say the first loss.
The first loss. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Now to provide extra context, this is going to be their first matchup this season. Their second matchup is not until the end of the last week of the season. So then this is at New York. So
yeah,
Manny's looking at the first matchup between these two teams will be the Eagles' first loss. Honestly, here's where I'm gonna go. I say the Eagles will lose one of those games before they play the Giants, and this is gonna be their win. Stuff here.
You think this is gonna be their win or the second game?
They're gonna win this game.
Okay.
They're gonna win this game, but they're gonna end up losing one of those games before they play.
Got it. Okay.
That's how I see it. All that stuff. But who knows? They might still end up being undefeated still. But I'll still stick with the pick. I'll still stick with the pick even if they stay undefeated.
And
everything. Because here's the thing. Giants are now 2-6 or 6-2 after their nice little run, undefeated run. Can they continue this towards the end of the season and all that stuff? That's the
Yeah.
thing. This is a very it was a nice run they had, but I feel like it looks like it's starting to get to the point where, okay, let's see where they can go with this and all that stuff. And
Right.
the Eagles are just playing good ball right now. They're playing good ball.
True.
They picked up some good they had a good pickup on the trade deadline for that and everything. And so we'll see. And then hopefully they can continue this run if they can and all that stuff, because they're most likely going to make the playoffs right now, from what I can tell.
Yeah.
Lastly, we have the Dolphins at LA against the Chargers. What are we seeing here? Two teams still vying for playoffs. The to provide a little more context, playoff wise, like I said, they're both in contention for playoffs. They are currently the two wildcard teams. One of the two
I'm
wildcard
gonna go
teams.
Dolphins.
Okay.
I'm going Dolphins.
I'm actually gonna agree with you on that one. And I'm gonna stick with the Dolphins. So I love the Dolphins. I've been enjoying the Dolphins so much and everything,
Right.
and how they've been and it's been fun to see them play and everything. And I think Chargers, though they're like right now in a good spot to not only still get the division but also have a playoff spurt, but I don't think they will be able to maintain it if they keep taking more risk.
Yeah.
And everything. But yeah, that are our picks for week 14. Again, by next month we will let you know of how these games will go and everything, and then see
I,
what
I completely forgot that. I was like, next month. What do you mean, dude?
we will continue this and see where this goes from here on how these all play out. But other than that, we're gonna end this here. And this has been the No Name Sports Show. My name is Ricky, along with my co-host Manny, and everything. We thank you for joining us and everything. Don't forget, next month we already got a couple things already happening. Most likely finding out who are the top 4 teams in the college football playoff. Probably catch up on some basketball to provide a little more context of how the season's been going and the preview of the Christmas games and all that stuff. And of course, our NFL picks. See, can Manny catch up to me pretty much and all that stuff. He's only 3 games behind and all that stuff, and we'll see where this goes.
How about that?
And all that stuff. But other than that, we'll see you next month. Catch you later. And don't forget to check out episode 100 of the No Name Podcast. Bye.